Good afternoon and praise the Lord. A Choirs welcome you for the novena to the Divine Mercy. Day 5 is dedicated to Christians, heretics, and schismatics. Before we begin the prayer, I request you all to kindly keep your phone in silent mode or and also carry a rosary along with you.
Introduction. The Chaplet of Divine Mercy is a Christian devotion to the Divine Mercy, based on the Christological apparitions of Jesus reported by Saint Faustina Kowalska. While she was in Warsaw, she approached many different convents but was turned away every time. She was judged on her appearances and sometimes rejected for poverty. Finally, the Mother Superior for the congregation of the Sisters of Our Lady of Mercy decided to take in Faustina on the condition that she could pay for her own religious habit, working as a housekeeper. Faustina began to save her money and make deposits to the convent. On April 30, 1926, at the age of 20, she finally received her habit and took the religious name of Saint Faustina of the Blessed Sacrament. And in 1928, she took her first religious vows as a nun. Over the next year, Faustina traveled convents as a cook. She was also transferred to Vilnius when she met Father Michael Sopochko, the appointed confessor to the nuns. During her first confession with Sopochko, Faustina told him about her conversations with Jesus and his plans for her. Father Sopochko insisted she be evaluated by a psychiatrist. Sopochko encouraged her to start recording all of her conversations with Jesus. Faustina told Sopochko about the Divine Mercy image, and it was Sopochko who introduced her to Kazimierowski, the artist of the first Divine Mercy painting.
Let us kneel. Let us make sign of the cross.
In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen.
Opening prayer. Let us keep our intention before our Lord.
Dear Lord, we offer unto your feet our parents who have worked so much for us and sacrificed things that we don't even know. Yes, Lord, these are the characteristics that embody your parental nature, O Lord. We offer them at your feet that they might follow you throughout the days of their lives.
Yes, Lord my God, as we are here once again, Lord, please help us to be real. Lord, in this world, from the beginning, from our birth till now, we have been taking some or other mask and we are putting it on ourselves. We are so much immersed in the concept of mass that we don't realize at times that who we are, what we are, why we are here. Lord, as today is the 5th day, sometimes if we see, then if we see ourselves, sometimes we are acting like heretics, schematics. But Lord, your mercy is for them also. Help us, Lord, to remember the sacraments we have received, especially our baptism and communion. Yes, Lord my God, help us that we may be able to retain your love, retain your power to forgive through all the sacraments we have received. Lord my God, please help us that we may move with your Spirit through all these sacraments you have provided us. For this we pray.
Lord my God, as we are doing this Divine Mercy Chaplet as given by Saint Faustina, and during this chaplet, when we say that I trust in you or we trust in you, Lord, please help us to understand the meaning of this word trust. How we can trust someone, or how someone can trust on us. Lord, there may be many times when somebody might have broken our trust, and because of that we have decided not to trust on anyone again. Or maybe it's from our childhood, maybe even before being born, or with our parents in our early days, we could not make a relationship of trust with them, or we broke somebody's trust, and hence we are frightened to build that relationship. Whatever, wherever we might have faulted, Lord, to be able to build that trust, to be able to understand that trust. Lord, as we pray today, we need your mercy that we may be able to understand this trust, and especially be able to trust in you. Trust that you have said that you will always be with us. Anywhere we are, whatever we do, you will be with us. Help us to trust in that, and help us to become trustworthy people. For this we pray.
Oh Lord, I want to pray for each and every Christian in this world. Oh Lord, at times we just blindly follow the rituals, we mug up prayers, and in that we often forget that what we are seeking for, why are we actually saying the prayer, and we are headed towards religiosity, and we often take pride in having that religiosity. But Lord Jesus, you did not want religiosity, but rather spirituality. And just cleaning the outer part of the cup is not enough. You want that everything should come from within, and the inner part should be clean. That is what you look for. Help us that every moment when we practice any ritual, when we say prayers, help us actually to realize that. And especially every moment we have heard a lot of word of God. We also know many word of God by heart. We read Bible. But help us, Lord, to actualize it in our lives and actually see that you have carved it in our hearts. We have it already within us. Just how much do we look within us? How much do we question ourselves? How much do we find answers for ourselves? How much do we seek you, O Lord? Help us so that we Christians maybe not head towards religiosity, rather spirituality. Understand each and everything and do it. And most importantly, help us, Lord, to be clean from within, to portray what we are from within. Dear Lord, I bring before you all those people who are struggling in their faith, facing persecution because of their faith. Dear Lord, at times it's very difficult to really see you in difficult situations, to really have that thought that you are above any situations that we are going through. No matter what, Lord, you are always there with us. Help us, give us that grace to have deep faith in you, especially in times of crisis. Help us so that we may be able to cope up with your grace and may understand your plan for us. For this I pray.
Lord, I want to pray for all those people called for the leadership. You have called them for the leadership within the church or within a community or within a small group, society, family, or schools as a school, and for all the leaders responsible for the good, common good, especially those who govern our country. We pray to the Lord.
Opening prayer. You expired, Jesus,
but
but
the
the
source of life gushed forth for souls, and the ocean of mercy opened up for the whole world. O fount of life, unfathomable divine mercy, envelop the whole world and empty yourself out upon us,
O blood and water,
which gushed forth from the heart of Jesus as a fount of mercy for us. I trust in you.
O blood
Water which gushed forth from the heart of Jesus as a fount of mercy for us. I trust in you. O blood and water which gushed forth from the heart of Jesus as a fount of mercy for us. I trust in you.
Our Father,
Who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us, Lord, from evil. Amen.
Hail Mary,
Full of grace, the Lord is with you. Blessed art thou amongst women, and blessed is the fruit of thy womb, Jesus. Holy Mary, Mother of God, pray for us sinners, now and at the hour of our death. Amen.
I believe in God,
The Father Almighty, creator of heaven and earth, and in Jesus Christ, his only Son, our Lord, who was conceived by the Holy Spirit, born of the Virgin Mary, suffered under Pontius Pilate, was crucified, died, and was buried. He descended into hell. On the third day he rose again from the dead. He ascended into heaven and is seated at the right hand of God the Father Almighty. From there he will come to judge the living and the dead. I believe in the Holy Spirit, the Holy Catholic Church, the communion of saints, the forgiveness of sins, the resurrection of the body, and life everlasting. Amen.
Eternal Father,
I offer you the body and blood, soul and divinity of your dearly beloved Son, our Lord Jesus Christ, in atonement for our sins and those of the whole world.
for the sake of his sorrowful passion,
Have mercy on us and on the whole world.
for the sake of his sorrowful passion,
Have mercy on us and on the whole world.
for the sake of his sorrowful passion,
Have mercy on us and on the whole world.
for the sake of his sorrowful passion,
Have mercy on us and on the whole world.
For the sake of his sorrowful passion,
have mercy on us and on the whole world.
for the sake of his sorrowful passion,
Have mercy on us and on the whole world.
for the sake of his sorrowful passion,
Have mercy on us and on the whole world.
for the sake of his sorrowful passion,
Have mercy on us and on the whole world.
for the sake of his sorrowful passion,
Have mercy on us and on the whole world.
for the sake of his sorrowful passion,
Have mercy on us and on the whole world.
Eternal Father,
I offer you the body and blood, soul and divinity of your dearly beloved Son, our Lord Jesus Christ, in atonement for our sins and those of the whole world.
for the sake of his sorrowful passion,
Have mercy on us and on the whole world.
for the sake of his sorrowful passion,
Have mercy on us and on the whole world.
for the sake of his sorrowful passion,
Have mercy on us and on the whole world.
for the sake of his sorrowful passion,
Have mercy on us and on the whole world.
for the sake of his sorrowful passion,
Have mercy on us and on the whole world.
for the sake of his sorrowful passion,
Have mercy on us and on the whole world.
for the sake of his sorrowful passion,
Have mercy on us and on the whole world.
for the sake of his sorrowful passion,
Have mercy on us and on the whole world.
for the sake of his sorrowful passion,
Have mercy on us and on the whole world.
for the sake of his sorrowful passion,
Have mercy on us and on the whole world.
Eternal Father,
I offer you the body and blood, soul and divinity of your dearly beloved Son, our Lord Jesus Christ, in atonement for our sins and those of the whole world.
for the sake of his sorrowful passion,
Have mercy on us and on the whole world.
for the sake of his sorrowful passion,
Have mercy on us and on the whole world.
for the sake of his sorrowful passion,
Have mercy on us and on the whole world.
for the sake of his sorrowful passion,
Have mercy on us and on the whole world.
for the sake of his sorrowful passion,
Have mercy on us and on the whole world.
for the sake of his sorrowful passion,
Have mercy on us and on the whole world.
for the sake of his sorrowful passion,
Have mercy on us and on the whole world.
for the sake of his sorrowful passion,
Have mercy on us and on the whole world.
for the sake of his sorrowful passion,
Have mercy on us and on the whole world.
for the sake of his sorrowful passion,
Have mercy on us and on the whole world.
Eternal Father,
I offer you the body and blood, soul and divinity of your dearly beloved Son, our Lord Jesus Christ, in atonement for our sins and those of the whole world.
for the sake of his sorrowful passion,
Have mercy on us and on the whole world.
for the sake of his sorrowful passion,
Have mercy on us and on the whole world.
for the sake of his sorrowful passion,
Have mercy on us and on the whole world.
for the sake of his sorrowful passion,
Have mercy on us and on the whole world.
for the sake of his sorrowful passion,
Have mercy on us and on the whole world.
for the sake of his sorrowful passion,
Have mercy on us and on the whole world.
for the sake of his sorrowful passion,
Have mercy on us and on the whole world.
for the sake of his sorrowful passion,
Have mercy on us and on the whole world.
for the sake of his sorrowful passion,
Have mercy on us and on the whole world.
for the sake of his sorrowful passion,
Have mercy on us and on the whole world.
Eternal Father,
I offer you the body and blood, soul and divinity of your dearly beloved Son, our Lord Jesus Christ, in atonement for our sins and those of the whole world.
for the sake of his sorrowful passion,
Have mercy on us and on the whole world.
for the sake of his sorrowful passion,
Have mercy on us and on the whole world.
for the sake of his sorrowful passion,
Have mercy on us and on the whole world.
for the sake of his sorrowful passion,
Have mercy on us and on the whole world.
for the sake of his sorrowful passion,
Have mercy on us and on the whole world.
for the sake of his sorrowful passion,
Have mercy on us and on the whole world.
for the sake of his sorrowful passion,
Have mercy on us and on the whole world.
for the sake of his sorrowful passion,
Have mercy on us and on the whole world.
for the sake of his sorrowful passion,
Have mercy on us and on the whole world.
for the sake of his sorrowful passion,
Have mercy on us and on the whole world.
Holy God,
Holy Mighty One, Holy Immortal One, have mercy on us and on the whole world. Holy God, Holy Mighty One, Holy Immortal One, have mercy on us and on the whole world. Holy God, Holy Mighty One, Holy Immortal One,
have mercy on us and on the whole world. The divine praises. After each praise, your response will be, I trust in you. Your response,
I trust in you.
divine mercy gushing forth from the bosom of the Father.
I trust in you.
Divine mercy, incomprehensible mystery.
I trust in you.
Divine mercy found gushing forth from the mystery of the most blessed Trinity.
I trust in you.
Divine mercy unfathomed by any intellect, human or angelic.
I trust in you.
Divine mercy from which wells forth all life and happiness.
I trust in you.
Divine mercy better than the heavens.
I trust in you.
Divine mercy source of miracles and wonders.
I trust in you.
Divine mercy encompassing the whole universe.
I trust in you.
Divine mercy descending to earth in the person of the incarnate Word.
I trust in you.
Divine mercy which flowed out from the open wound of the heart of Jesus.
I trust in you.
Divine mercy enclosed in the institution of the sacred host.
I trust in you.
Divine mercy in the founding of the Holy Church.
I trust in you.
Divine mercy in the sacrament of holy baptism.
I trust in you.
Divine mercy in our justification through Jesus Christ.
I trust in you.
Divine mercy accompanying us through our whole life.
I trust in you.
Divine mercy embracing us especially at the hour of death.
I trust in you.
Divine mercy endowing us with immortal life.
I trust in you.
Divine mercy shielding us from the fire of hell.
I trust in you.
Divine mercy in the conversion of hardened sinners.
I trust in you.
Divine mercy astonishment for angels incomprehensible to saints.
I trust in you.
Divine mercy unfathomed in all mysteries of God.
I trust in you.
Divine mercy lifting us out of every misery.
I trust in you.
Divine mercy in calling us forth from nothingness to existence.
I trust in you.
Divine mercy embracing all the works of His hands.
I trust in you.
Divine mercy crown of all God's handiwork.
I trust in you.
Divine mercy in which we are all immersed.
I trust in you.
Divine mercy sweet relief for anguished hearts.
I trust in you.
Divine mercy only hope of despairing souls.
I trust in you.
Divine mercy repose of hearts, peace amidst fear.
I trust in you.
Divine mercy delight and ecstasy of holy souls.
I trust in you.
Divine mercy inspiring hope against all hope.
I trust in you.
Concluding prayer.
Eternal God, in whom mercy is endless, and the treasury of compassion inexhaustible, look kindly upon us and increase your mercy in us, that in difficult moments we might not despair nor become despondent, but with great confidence submit ourselves to your holy will, which is love and mercy itself. Amen.
Glory be to the Father, and to the Son, and to the Holy Spirit.
As it was in the beginning, is now, and ever shall be, world without end. Amen.
Mother Mary,
Pray for us.
Saint Joseph,
Pray for us.
Saint Faustina,
Pray for us.
Saint Jose Maria,
Pray for us.
Sacred Heart of Jesus,
I trust in you.
Sign of the Cross.
In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen. Thank you, friends, for joining us in this Divine Mercy Novena. We started this novena on 10th of April and it will be ending on 18th of April. Every day it will be conducted live on the channel of Ace Choir at 3:15 p.m. Do continue with us in this novena, preparing ourselves for the Divine Mercy Sunday. Also, invite your friends and family members to join us in this Divine Mercy Novena.